Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. My name's Shane from the Evolution of Fatherhood. I am so excited today to bring on my special guest, Stefan Zita, who's a culinary director. And we're going to talk about all things AI and how they are affecting the culinary experience. But before that, we're going to get through this little introduction, and we will go through this process together. Let me just share this there. And here we go. Okay, the introduction, the evolution of fatherhood. We are here today to, to say our support for to show our support for our fellow women out there. This is not a group. This is a group that's about supporting each other. We're a collective, and we're moving towards. We know that women are the four pillars of our relationships. In as being a human is with mothers, sisters, and wives and daughters. So we're out there, and we're fully pro women out there, and all the work that we're doing is so that we can show up as better men, and that will mean more stable families, more healthy sons, and fathers that will be happier and longer, live happily and longer. The reason why we do this is because we have this fathers group is because we know that there's a big change coming with AI, and this fathers group support group is about collectively learning about AI, using this time to focus in on one little one part each week of what AI is, how it's changing the parenting experience, and just finding out from different people in different industries what their experiences are and how they're managing it when they come home from work, and understanding how that interaction with their family is being affected by AI. So this group is a collective experience with different men that come along and share their experiences in how AI is changing their parenting experience. Okay. So the first thing I have is a little video, and it's around the subject that we have today. It's around food sustainability, and around the subject of how AI can solve some problems about our ability to have food and our access to a sustainable food source. Okay.
Food is at the core of our culture, is a way of sharing.
Food basically is life.
Food is everything from the soil to the water to the manpower. Food is also something very precious, very vulnerable.
But if you don't produce it in an environmental sustainable way, it may actually not mean life as we would like it to be.
Right now, we have a hugely inefficient system. You have a massive amount of resources that are going into our entire food system, and little that's coming out. If we don't address these challenges, we have the very real possibility of not even being able to feed our current population.
The planet cannot take the increase of intensive agriculture anymore.
Life will change and the industry will change, and some parts of the chain may disappear.
We need to do something about our future. We need to start taking care of this planet.
We're just on the verge of the next revolution, and it's going to transform farming forever.
There's a real trend that's seeing investors and consumers engaged, wanting to know more about where the food comes from, where ingredients come from, how supply chains are managed. But critically, we're starting to see governments being demanded to do much more.
We're at a situation where we have a real opportunity to get things right. There's a real chance to influence the way in which investments are made, the way in which decisions are made.
We can change the world, and we have the means, we have the opportunities, but we have to harness the opportunities.
We don't have to fear innovation, we have to practice it.
If banks and other institutions were to invest responsibly, we will feed 10 billion people and we will feed them well.
Okay, Let me just bring that back up again. Yes. So an interesting topic here where we're talking about how the food chains are going to operate and specifically how AI is going to come in and change the way we solve this problem, right? Through farming and the way that we interact with our companies that actually service the food service industry. So that's why my guest that's coming on right now, we're excited to bring him on because he is at the coalface of all of these products and having, you know, being a culinary director, he's the from the farm to the table guy, right? He's the one that shows up and makes sure that we have the nutritious food on the table for us, and that interaction where it's going to change with AI is right in the coalface of Stefan. So I'm happy to introduce Stefan. Stefan, are you there, mate? Yes, I can see you.
Hey, Shane. I'm certainly here.
Hey, how you doing? Good to see you, my friend. I'm excited to hear about your role and what you're doing with AI and how it's how it's changing the way that you're thinking about how being a culinary director, and how you're changing the way that you're thinking about food and preparation and how you're actually bringing it to the people. I think there's a few points in that video about, where this part comes into it, right? We're at the coalface of this situation and what we can do to fix that. So what have you got for us today, Stefan?
Absolutely, Shane, you're spot on. I mean, this is okay. I'm by trade, I am a chef, right? I feed people. The hotel I'm working in right now, we do 1,500 guests a day that have at least 2 meals a day. So there's 3,000 meals that sort of go through my hands every day. And of course, you need to consider every aspect. Food safety is huge. And in the video there was something that they shared about that a third of the food that is produced in the entire world goes actually to waste, and this is a huge concern that we are addressing. That how can we reduce our food waste? But I think the most fascinating for me with the responsibilities that I have is food safety, but also nutrition. Food has to be nutritious, right? And this has always been fascinating for me. I was always, besides wanting to eat very tasty food, I'm always curious, what does food do to you, right? What is one of the guys in the video also said, food is life. Which is true. I mean, the minute you stop eating, you won't last very long. So food is life. We
are what we eat, right?
yeah, which is 100% true. Just out of curiosity, I went through, well, maybe not all the diets that are on the planet, but I did give everything a try, just to see what would happen to you. And not for a week or something, but for at least 6 months, that I went through all kinds of different, paleo diet or plant-based diet or a raw diet. I've tried them all, just out of curiosity, just to see, okay, what really happens. You see, I a long time back, I was suffering lots of headaches, and now in the end I know it's just because of a busy job and a bit too stressed and random eating and no pattern in your life, just work and do whatever you want. So I suffered lots from headaches, and every time when I would take a Panadol and half an hour your headache is gone, I would, what the heck is that? How can such a small little pill resolve that pain, and you feel so much better afterwards? And then through that, I thought, like, yeah, but hold on, that's just one tiny little pill. What does everything else do that I put in my system? And so yeah, I tried everything, and at some point I ended up being a vegan for 3 years. So this was the last diet that I sort of wanted to try, because I felt like, vegan and you miss out on a lot. but it really stuck to me, and it really changed many things for me. Now, due to my job, after 3 years, I had to move on. So I stopped being a vegan, but it shows that that you are what you eat, like you said. And
yeah, well, I'm thinking like the 80-20 rule for myself. I'm like, I'm always like, 80% has got to be the vegetables, right? The vegetables and and then you can sort of mix it in with whatever else. And I mean, I'm by no means the healthiest person on the planet, but I'm 52 years old, right? And I know that how my body responds to certain types of foods, right? So, sometimes it is that, I cook the big the meatball spaghetti for the kids and don't eat it myself, because I know that just where I am right now, and if I was burning off a million calories every day, I'd probably change that as well. But coming back to fatherhood, I mean, nutrition, we don't have fathers if we don't have nutrition, right? So it's like, if we have to get it right, because I mean, it's not just us, but it's our family that we're nutrition too. And I remember just a little story when my younger boys were they were like just beginning to start to be teenagers, and I started to cook for them. I had this epiphany, I wanted to start cooking for them. And I realized that was a way of me to connect in with my feminine side. I'd love to cook and give them nutrition, right? I'm nourishing them in a sense that a way that I never did before. I had to work that out. So, what do you think about that? I mean, like with nutrition, how do you use AI to keep it current? Like, I know it's hard. You can go to Google and find a recipe, but can you use AI to make it a little bit, spice it up a little bit, or make something?
Definitely. I think for a lot of fathers, if you're not so much into cooking, then it's quite an ordeal to you have to chop, and you have temperatures, need to get your temperatures right, and the safety aspect as well. You don't want to burn things, and there's a lot of things. Or you open your fridge and you look inside and you have no idea what is what. I could totally imagine that. So there is, and this I think is where AI can really come in. You can there for sure there are bots that you just put in what you have in your fridge, and a recipe pops out, and you kind of just follow that, and you can still go wrong. Obviously, you still have to do it, but I think this would be a lot of help. Not only for cooking for your kids, but we're talking about the food waste. Perhaps when you have already cooked something and you have leftovers, or you have more than you actually needed, just put it in an AI bot and see what comes out, and just give it a try.
Like a how to reuse something you've already cooked to cook something else. Oh wow,
exactly. So you don't have that waste. If you have one tomato and 3 potatoes and a few other things that you normally would not eat together, but perhaps AI can make some sense out of it, which often can. I'm a chef. For me, I open the fridge, and it doesn't matter what's inside. I'm sure I can make something tasty out of it. So I don't have leftovers at home, but if you're not that, you're not that experienced, it can be a lot of fun too. If you fail, you fail. There's no harm done there as well. But if you have success, then that's fun too. But if back to nutrition, like you rightfully so said, that's the love that you can give to your family, right? If you provide a healthy, wholesome, tasty meal, I don't think there's much better you can do.
Well, I think there's 2 things that's coming up for me, is that maybe this whole using AI to source your recipes and help you with doing leftovers and making the most nutritionist, because I'm sure you can use it as a nutritional tool as well. But it kind of gives you time back, right? And having having more time to be with the family and just sitting down because you've done most of the legwork on the research side of things using AI. It gives you time back for your family, right? So I guess that works better because then you give them more time, and then for kids, love is spelt time. So it's like you give them that as well. So I'm like thinking that, you're giving them the nourishing of the food. You're also giving them the nourishing of you learning new things and evolving yourself as a father, as being an evolution of fatherhood. And you're also like, you're getting your time back and being able to give your time and love to wherever you want to do, for self-love or family love, or because it's all part of the same thing, right? So I'm impressed, Stefan. But you take me as a little bit of a mad scientist guy, so I'm thinking.
Well, while you say this, it got me thinking. If you want to engage we're talking about father-sons now, right? A lot of sons, they could not be bothered with cooking, maybe. But I guess the minute you add the AI situation into it, where you sit down together and say, okay, this is what we have, and something comes up, maybe that will also create the curiosity to actually go into the kitchens, the both of you, or the together, and sort it out together. So it almost becomes a bit of an adventure. If you're not really skilled in cooking. And then this is a great way to sort of approach it together and give that knowledge straight away to your son. So your son, by the time that he is a father, actually is a better chef or a better cook than yourself have been, because of the AI aspect.
He's got connection to his feminine. He can connect into his feminine side as well. If it's his son and he's learning to cook for his family, he's getting that feedback as well, going, oh wow, I'm actually nourishing my family as well as loving them and giving them, cooking the food that they're going to use as nutrients in their body, which is amazing. But I was thinking more along the lines of, and I'm thinking that you probably could do it with your son as well, as something like a Frankenstein's monster, where you sort of like make a food that has never been made before. Have you ever tried any of that stuff?
This is really cool. So when ChatGPT came out, well, first of all, I was amazed with the possibilities, and it helps me a lot in just for inspiration. Let's say I need to create a menu for an event. Special request, maybe it's a Japanese menu with certain ingredients. It gets you going so much faster. You just type in sort of what you want, and something comes out, and you go like, oh yeah, I can use this, I can use this, can use this, and you're already half on the way. And all you need to do is you finish it by yourself. But at some point, I thought like, you know what, perhaps it can just really create weird stuff. So I put in a prompt, create a pasta dish recipe that doesn't exist but is most likely very tasty. And actually something comes out. It was a spaghetti with peanut sauce and chicken and mango. So I tried it, and it's weird, but it's not tasty. It's something that hasn't existed before. You don't have much reference to it, but it worked. And then I tried many others. I didn't cook all of them, I must say that, but I you can type in anything, create a recipe for a dessert with chocolate that probably doesn't exist, but most likely is very tasty. And then something will come out, and you just make it, and that's a lot of fun. I'm actually thinking to do one day a pop-up event or a pop-up restaurant where we only have AI generated recipes,
like mystery meals.
Like complete mystery meal. Yes.
Yes. I'm looking forward to that invite, mate. That sounds really cool. That sounds really awesome.
Could be fun.
Yeah. I would love that. I think that's you've been behind a lot of innovative things with culinary, being a culinary director. So it's kind of like right down your alleyway where you find these tools that actually give you more ability to expand on what you already know, right? Like it maybe even finds you giving a new passion for what you're doing with a sense of knowing that there's something bigger that's coming along that's going to give you a bigger grasp of what you're actually doing. And I think that's really good, really, really awesome. I had that written down, and I mean, like, and as far as like food, sustainability, like not wasting food, having something like that where you say, well, this is what I've got, like rather than me going down the road and buying a whole stack of stuff and then the other stuff going to waste, what have I got here that I can make into a meal, right? And it's like boom, 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 and then you go, okay, sorted, right? And then you can use every little bit. You can be a little bit more like, a little bit more like effective with your food preparation as well. So that's awesome, mate. Really, really cool. I really like that. I did had a little look at some of the technology that was out there, some AI, and I came up with a little bit of a chat chef bot that you might see it. It's basically, and I do this bit of research before you come on because I want to, it's not about the software itself. It's just about the what AI is thinking it's doing, right? Like, what are they thinking? The reason behind them making an AI chef bot, right? So it's like, it's like a personal cooking assistant, like you said, ingredient substitutions and recommendations, flavor pairing, magic. So it's kind of like, in being a culinary director, it's all about, flavor pairings, right? Like, what can we pair? And I mean, I guess with the world around and the way that, the world access to things, you can sort of have these strange, far off, connections that you probably wouldn't have had, different country culinary joint, things coming together to pair. I think it was really exciting. And optimized cooking times, like even energy efficiency, like knowing that you can set things on timers to set it to specific times to do its work, and it saves you a bit more energy in the world. And continuous learning, we covered that as well. So I think that's that's great. I think that having a chef bot because I mean, I know that what we're seeing as well with AI at the moment is that there's this training platform. So what I believe is that we're coming full circle, you might say, where the role as a father has changed over the hundreds of years, right? Since we've been documenting it, saying we're protectors, we're food sources, we're hunters and gatherers, we're in industrial age where we're the providers. We just make the money, and that's where I was like, my whole role when I was a young man and I was father, I was like, go out and make money. That was my whole thing, right? And we're the bottom of your pants trying to do it, right? Because you just work yourself. But I can see that with AI and using that technology can make maybe the learning process that people go through can be taken away from the family side, like the learning of the technical stuff that needs to be learned. So say we have chatbots that teach us everything we need to know, and we have that side where robots basically look after our knowledge base on that side. But it comes right back to the family where we're back at the campfire with our friends. And I know that we shared a campfire last weekend, and it was kind of like, it really brought back to me, right, of how us as fathers, and here you and I with our two sons, and we're like having chats about the future of the world, and how we cooked our potatoes and how delicious they were, and all that kind of stuff, and how simple and it was, and and then just to see the kids just in their element, right? They're playing on the swings, they're doing their thing, and it's a way of simplifying things, right? Yes, there's a big technical thing that's happening, that's a revolution out there that's going to shift everything, but there is this innate thing that we can do as parents, as fathers, that can just bring it all back down to simplicity, and we become the nurturers again. The family should have been the nurturers the whole time, but that's sort of slowly got taken off us, and we had to got different roles put into us, and now it's kind of, in my opinion, it's sort of going this full circle where we come back to where we realize that our roles in the community are storytellers and bakers and food preparers and these themed dinners and whatever it is that we do to entertain our families in a loving way and nourish our families. It's just such a beautiful thing to do. So I thank you, Stefan, for coming on, and this has been a perfect conversation. I'm inspired by it. A little story when I was like when I was a young man looking for a career, I was actually going to be a chef. I did my working experience in a Chinese restaurant where they couldn't speak any English. So it was, it was certainly an experience. I learned how to make fried ice cream. But it was, and that was like a wow, because how do you fry something that's frozen? Anyway, it was fun, but it was great. But yeah, life took me on a different direction, but I still am passionate about food, and I'm so grateful that you came on and talk about your passion about food. So I would love to have you back at some point and talk about this food sustainability thing. And I know that your wife Amy, she's all about sustainability and how the businesses that you're creating around sustainable models. And I think that AI is going to cross over into that as well, and being able to create models that have sustainability will be really, really important. So maybe someday down the track we can come back and have a bit of a talk about that. But my friend, I look forward to catching up with you every time I see you.
Anytime. I'll be there. Count me in.
Thank you for your time, bud. I will jump on to the next presentation, and then I will catch up with you later on. If you're still on, if you're not, that's fine. I'll just wrap up the call. Okay.
Let's do it. Thanks, Shane.
Thanks, buddy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. So next bit we have is we've got a bit of an announcement with this one, because Andrew, he was coming on. He's a TEDx speaker. He actually he's a TEDx trainer. So he trains speakers to come on to do TEDx talks. And he's well renowned. He's got thousands and thousands of people that follow him. He was coming on to do how AI is changing, beyond words on his presentation. However, he was called away at the last minute. He messaged me. He said he's going to reschedule. So look out for that. We'll reschedule. But I wanted to just go back onto some of the things that I actually looked at when Andrew was coming on board, because I wanted to, give him some, AI background, because Andrew's a bit of a purist. He likes to hear and feel and see you in front of you and give you hand on hand support. And he's looking at, this whole, AI and how it's going to actually control or give you feedback on your speaking. And I found this app, which is called Orei, and it's amazing. So it's got this revolutionary AI-powered tool designed to elevate your speaking skills and transform your presentations into impactful masterpieces, right? So it tells you like, your presentation, about your presentation and your wording and getting your grammar right. But it also gives you loops in your stories that brings you back around to the point that you're trying to make. So a lot of times when we have like speakers and presentations, we're looking for that loop to come back to the point that we're trying to make. And Andrew is really good at making that very creative, and he gets your creative juices going when he does that. But this app does a similar thing, where it listens to you and then gives you feedback on your presentation. So you're in your room and you're doing your you've got your Orei open and you're just doing your presentation as if you were in front of everyone, and then it gives you feedback on your speech and how you've how you can be more, what parts of the speech that you can be more predominant at, and what you can accentuate and give yourself, give more engagement to the audience. And I thought that was really, really clever. So I wanted to, let me just see if I can do that, because I've got this little video that I saw of Andrew, and this will give you a little, instigation, or, a little insight into Andrew, if I can find that. No, that's not going to be it. So it's this one, I think. And oh no, sorry, my apologies, everyone. I'm going to stop your screen share for now, and then I'm going to go back into here. I'm going to put this up, and then I'm going to show you this video. Okay, so this is Andrew. He's he has some really interesting stuff on his Andrew Eggelton Facebook page. However, this video caught my ear, so I want to just play this for you quickly and see how it. Let me just check, make sure that I've got everything right for the video. Yep. Okay. And here we go. Oh, no, hang on. We need audio. And boom.
When I talk about the craft of presenting, the craft is the how we do what it is that we do. So if I get specific on the craft of using our voice, tone, it means that we're able to choose how we want our audience to receive our words. We choose how our words sound. The word home needs to sound comforting. It needs to sound grounded, comforting, that you want to go home, not home. So when we know how to use our voice, we can create ever-changing landscapes for our audience to listen to. It's creating a sense of novelty. Our brains crave novelty. It is what keeps the audience engaged. A level of craft, the how we do what it is that we do.
The courtroom clips you're witnessing went viral.
Okay. So that was Andrew and his amazing presentation. We're going to look forward to having him back on maybe next week, or look forward to seeing him coming back on when he gets the next availability, because I'm a big fan of Andrew and his courses and how he teaches you how to speak in an engaging way from authenticity as well from stage. And I've got some really awesome stories that I'd like to share with you in my experience with Andrew as well when Andrew's on the call. So maybe next time, but that's really cool. So if you're looking to give yourself a upskill and give yourself the ability to to speak better on your presentations, go to Andrew's website and have a look at what he's doing. And if you want, download an AI app as well and give yourself a little bit of tutoring from an AI perspective. It's pretty cool. So this is what Andrew says, the craft is how we do what we do. It enables us to create. So he's talking about the craft is presenting. So presenting is his craft and how he teaches you how to do that. So look forward to having Andrew back on another time. Okay, so there's another little thing that I wanted to share with you as well. And this was this Read AI meeting notes. Now, in your Zoom account, so in your Zoom, you'll find in your right-hand column, you'll have apps. And if you've got your apps displayed on the right-hand side, you'll have this thing called meeting. It's called Meeting Recaps, Transcripts, Recordings from RED, R-E-A-D. And it's AI powered. And what it's doing right at the moment for me is that it's transcribing this whole presentation for me. So when we're finished this meeting, I will get a brief of every subject that we talked about. There's like moments that'll be shared. AI just like crawls through the video and starts to give you breakdowns of what the actual Zoom call was about and how it was delivered. So really cool. It's a little app on the side. It's called Meeting Transcripts and Meeting Recaps, Transcripts, Recording from RED. So it's like a Google plugin, but it's AI powered and it gives you that transcription of your Zoom call. So it's kind of like a little reader that sits inside. So it's another little profile that adds to your Zoom call, and it transcribes everything, which is really, really cool. So just wanted to bring that one because that's a really good part of this presentation that I wanted to give to you today. Have a look in your apps in Zoom and see what AI apps you have available, because they are all there for you to just engage with, right? And get free samples of. So you can try Read for free and basically transcribe. And I did it last night with my social media team meeting, and I was so impressed. I wonder if I can bring that up because that'd be really, really good, because it's like it won't show me this one until we're finished. No, if I can find it. No, read. Okay, here it is. Okay, so here, this is it. No, okay, no, it's not giving me. It's so basically, it's a you'll get this transcript email to you, and it says, this is what it's all about. And I just can't find the email. But the last night when I had my meeting, I said to my staff, like, they sent me a message this morning, because I tend to cross a lot of, as you can probably tell in these calls, that I do tend to cross a lot of ground when I'm doing my business and doing my meetings. And what I found was that my team always say, oh, do you have a recording of last night's meeting? Because, we went through so much stuff and I want to make sure that I get it right. So can you give me the recording of it, right? And I'd go, I can do better than that. I can give you the whole minutes and the breakdown and when I send it to them, they're like, oh my gosh, it's like such a really good tool. And it does it so much better. So then I could do just writing notes, because I did take notes during the meeting as well. But it's like they get so much more out of it because they get context as well as the exact words that I used. They also get a visual of when it happened in the video, so they get a bit pieced together, so they can like go skip through and just get the points of each one. So it's really good app. So you want to look through your apps on the Zoom account as well, because there's lots of AI in Zoom. All right, so let's moving on. Okay, so next we got this upskilling summit coming up, which is I'm really excited about. It's going to be an online summit where we do a upskilling 2-day, 2-hour event on the 4th and 5th of September. What we do is that you just book in, register for free. You'll come on. Basically, we'll go through the whole, AI cybersecurity. We'll go through AI and entrepreneurships and startups. I'll go through the whole setup that I've just been through with my team and setting up a fully functioning business using AI and in its startup, and how we've transversed that landscape as well. We've got AI inside cybersecurity, so we've got AI tools and technologies. We'll be sharing, like we have now, any little bits of details that I find along the way that I feel relevant to the course, tools and technologies. And I will take some, also, whatever experiences that you or software that you want to have a look at, AI discussion tools, let me know, because we will be able to cover them as well. But the tools and technologies is what we want to use, and we'll spend a good hour on those technologies and sharing and how we use them. We'll have a panel. We'll get some panel of people on here with that are using AI. They could be like some of the people that we've already had on these the Evolution of Fatherhood calls, and they will come on and share their stories since we last saw them, right? So and then we go through AI future trends and predictions, and that may be part of the topic of what we were talking about when we get to the panel discussions as well. Okay, so we've got a retreat happening. That's happening. It's father and son. It's a pathway to manhood. Now we found that we've got like we're not isolating women here. We're just saying that what we've found is that I've had these situations where, our mums or our daughters or our friends, friends' wives have spoken to me and talked about how, there's this pathway that we have for women, like, when young girls, they get their period and all that sort of stuff, and they go off and do this ritualistic thing where they sort of get together and they talk about all women stuff, right? And what we're trying to do, and what we've seen lately, just with the things that are happening in the world, and the young men are calling out for us to create something for them. And what we find is that what we're creating is that we're finding that we're getting like mums, especially wives, who are saying, can you take my son and my husband to the retreat in Bali, and we work on them together, like them bonding and how that works. And what we've done is we've made it have an AI component to it. So what we find is that the dad is kind of high and mighty up here, and then we've got as a son that's establishing himself, but he knows some stuff. He's been through some stuff. He's been he's young, but he's knowing some stuff, right? But what happens is that the young white guy knows a little bit about AI and how we can bring it to build bonding, or even help his dad to find some more time. And then his dad uses that AI and starts to bring back more time. And then what do they have? They have more time together, and then they can build more connections. So it's about building and establishing connections through using AI, and also, creating bonding experiences. So when they go home, they're going to have these experiences that they did together. So, I see like mums coming and, going off with their daughters and having their manicures and their Bali, massages, and then the guys going off and doing some work. But the guys, it's only 2.5 days. So the conference is just 2.5 days, and it's like 9 until 4 o'clock or something, and then we go and do some adventure for the day. But then after the 2.5 days, we're going to do something really epic. We're going to go and we're going to climb Rinjani. We're going to climb a Rinjani mountain. And it's not a big deal. It's a big deal, but it's so accessible for you. Like, fathers and sons will be able to do that. And if your son's 12 and you're, whatever condition you're in, you'll be able to get to the base camp, right? We're not going all the way to the summit unless you want to go to the summit. There's people that will go to the summit, but that's early in the morning, and it doesn't really disrupt us going into the base camp. So we're going to go to the base camp. We're going to set some intentions at the bottom before we go, and we're going to say, this is what we want to take away from this climb. And generally, what happens is that you put some intentions on it, then you climb, and you get some deep connection to yourself and your partner. So if your father and sons were there, and then and there's going to be opportunities for people that don't have sons as well, and that there's going to be sons that don't have fathers, and we're creating that space for them to have that experience as well. So if you know anyone that wants to, that would really benefit from this, and that would really have that we could put together the fathers and sons together, or even a young man that really could use some support with a men's group, and some men that maybe have older kids that they want to go back and help other kids do what they to their pathway to manhood as well. So that's all open for you. So direct message me if that's what you're looking for, because it's important that we do this work. It's really passionate for me, because I know that my pathway to fatherhood, my pathway to manhood would have been a lot easier if I would have had some of more focused role models on my pathway, rather than having to work it out for myself. And I think that's what's happening with a lot of men, is that the young men are going through this pathway, having to work it out themselves without having support of other men around them to do so. So that's what we've created. We've created this event for that purpose, to make sure that we're connecting with our young men and creating a more sustainable future using AI to connect them with. And kids are, they're naturally AI gifted. So teaching their father something, and their father teaching them something, it sort of comes into a beautiful synergy when we put them together. So that's on the 29th of October. We'll kick it off. It's the full moon. So we come into Bali, we go and have a welcome dinner at 6 o'clock, and then just a short, 1.5 hours introduction, bit of a network. And then we go into the next day, which is 9 o'clock at the resort with, we start with, looking at some, AI and your why, and going through getting connected with your son and your, the reason why you're here and how, and it starts from there. And then we go deeper into, we've got some special guests that go and do a lot of stuff. They've got intuitive healers. We've got you might have seen a few of the people that have already been on the calls. We've got Slade, who's a, young 21-year-old guy that's just been through this pathway, and he's going back and helping young men go through the pathway. We've got Laura LaRocca, who is a lady who talks about what women want and what AI women want, and what do men want. And she talks about how respect and men want to be respected and women want to be loved, but we also want both, right? So it's kind of like she has a really beautiful way of doing that, and opening, and her way of giving back to the community is amazing too. The way that she's putting a hand up to connect with AI as well, and learning, the love languages all over again, because she's, connecting with AI. So that there's some really good top level speakers coming in. And we've got the best guides that are in Lombok to do the Mount Rinjani climb. So you will have Sherpas and all that sort of thing. So it's just a really, really cool, awesome offering. If you want that, if you're looking for that for your sons or your husbands to connect, we can create that for you. We've created that for you. Okay. So from me, my name is Shane Bowen. I'm here to be part of the community of the evolution of fatherhood. I'm doing this because the people have asked me to do it. We have to focus on the evolution of fatherhood and how AI is changing the parenting experience, because we're looking to create better, have a community that's looking after each other during this transition. So what I wanted to do is, say goodbye, but say hello, because I know that there's many people that watch this video after the event has finished, and I want to, thank you all for watching that. And if it and anything, anything that resonates with you, just drop in a direct message and give me some, any questions, anything you want to, maybe some topics that you want to cover, how you are struggling with a little bit of AI and what is it doing to you in your workplace, maybe something that we can come up with a resolution together. But for my point, I really appreciate everyone that's come on and watching this video. And while everyone's wanting it, I will keep going. So next week, we have amazing group of authors on. So we have the authors that are coming on next week are amazing. Let me just pull up their image because it's such a cool visual to see these amazing guys all together in one place, because they've just done their own retreat in Bali, and it was incredible. They have such a great skill set when it comes to having their craft. It's like their way is amazing, and how their craft has evolved to accept AI, but also keep the purists pure, because they're all about writers, and they're all about their word, and how the healing part of what you're doing as an author, and creating, it's not just an exercise in procrastination. When is it ready? It's about having this amazing team around you to create the words or create the storyline that you want, and how AI is going to support them to do that. It's boundless. So I had a call with them last night, a tech call, just to check up on how, check how everything goes and how we're all working in synergy. And I can tell you, we looked at, emotional regulation. We looked at, how AI is going to, and we're looking at, understanding, having, how we communicate better with certain word types, and how AI can give you the descriptive of that. And also how to combat too much information. How do you numb it down a little bit so you can sort of get your ideas and understanding back? And so there's there's children's books and children's learning. There's, Laura's coming on to talk about, the love language and how that works in the way that you write. It's really, really cool. So we got that next week. So I'm looking forward to having that, sharing that with you. So from me, it's goodbye, and I hope you're enjoying the show. And